Hey everybody, I wanted to give you a little end of the year gift from me to you, and thank you guys all for joining me this last year for all of the videos and the classes and the boot camp that we have done. This year we have done the Manifest Your Dream Body boot camp, 90 days, which is basically understanding that this is the vehicle for manifestation. And yes, of course, we all want that amazing avatar body for this crazy simulation, but there is a lot more happening on the inside of this than you may not realize. So I have been digging deep into the embodiment work this year in my non-duality class and in our boot camp. Next year, we will be doing the manifest your dream life, manifest your dream partner, because obviously those are things you've been asking for, but really getting the best relationship with your body. You know, that includes self-love, that includes self-care, but there's a dynamic between spirit and body that is missing when it is soul led, because you know you're constantly trying to feed your soul, but the soul represents the subconscious mind. And if you're constantly trying to feed that, you're feeding those programs, you're interacting with it, you're reacting to it. And what that does is it keeps us from truly changing our reality. You know, we can move, we can go on a diet, we can do things in physical reality, but nothing will change that original blueprint script that the subconscious mind is running off of unless you get in here and change it. So for some of you, it kind of feels like breaking into a bank, right? And stealing a bunch of, because it's very difficult to get into the subconscious mind and really get in there and change it. Because most of those of us who have been going towards the spiritual journey, we have been also simultaneously abandoning our body, because this is where a lot of the pain is. This is where a lot of the memories are. This is where the inflammation is. This is where, you don't like what you see in the mirror. So it feels a lot better to be pursuing what we think is spirituality, but you will never truly taste and know what it feels like to be the God of your reality unless you're operating from inside here. Okay. So manifesting your dream body boot camp is all about you becoming one, unifying your consciousness with that primitive, primal, animalistic part of you, but also the super quantum biocomputer that you are, and your soul programs, or the womb of creation, as well as your ego, your separation consciousness, and your super consciousness. So when all of that becomes one united front, it will sound like a beautiful orchestra, and that frequency and vibration will deliver instant manifestation in the physical reality. So I wanted to give you my list for truly connecting with your higher self as kind of a gift to you guys to moving into next year. What you can expect next year is more of the same, more pressure, okay, more in your face of your old programs, more in your face of your own patterns. And if you're doing the work, if you've actually been redirecting your energy from the outside of 3D back into where it's being generated and created, then you're going to see a lot of fruit bearing from all the work you've been doing in your seed planning, your affirming, your deprogramming, your self-hypnosis work that you've been doing this year. This is the year where those trees are going to really bear fruit for you. So congratulations on that. If you have taken the 2023 year and used what could be fertilizer, could look like a pile of something to someone else, and you used it as the fertilizer. Because one of the coolest aspects of you as this avatar in this simulation is that you truly are an alchemist, and you are here to turn what you see out there into desired consciousness and reframe it, reorient it, refocus, and recommand. And then basically with relentless persistence, you ignore the 3D as if it is somebody annoying in your ear until that reality collapses and the new one is generated through you. Okay. So I wanted to give you my top, gosh, how many did I get here? Wow. There are actually 18, but I think there's actually 16, but it started off as 10 and then I just kept writing. And so these are going to be your your bullet points for truly connecting to your higher self, which is, if you understand the video game premise, where it's like somebody's playing this way, and then there is a character avatar inside of the video game. You have to see yourself as you are both, you're both of these points of attraction that creates that 2 point. But you who can't seem to figure out what to do in 3D is the avatar is stuck in the game, and you have lost that connection to the gamer because this game console has been separated that interaction between kind of the higher perspective of you and then the you that is playing physically focused you, which is inside the game. And obviously it was set up perfect because this was going to be a navigation, this was going to be a co-creation, this was going to be a team effort. And then usually by the time you're 7, the game is set up in a way where it is designed to break that connection. And so then of course the avatar is looking around like, I'm not getting any my GPS is not working, I'm not getting any feedback. So it is taught to look away from its own inner knowing and look to the parents, look to the church, look to the school, look to the friends to say, who am I? What am I supposed to do? What is allowed here? Like, how do I just basically lost my counterpoint. I just lost my whole, my heart, my eyes, my true knowing, my purpose. So what we do is we fumble around in this game trying to latch on to things and people and places that feel like the memory of that connection. Those are the things you get really obsessed about. Those are the people that you get really obsessed about. Inside of those people, places, and things holds a resonant frequency of where you have come from. So this is why so many empaths and sensitive people feel so homesick. They feel like, oh, I'm not from this planet. You know, I'm from here. Like, I don't fit in. And the reason why you don't fit in is because you are disconnected from that higher perspective of you that knows this is not just a game, that isn't taking any of this seriously, but also has this like holding space of you already winning the game, living completely in that vibration, in that reality. And so it is using that as like your North Star to get your attention inside the game all throughout your life. And usually when we have our awakening, we also have a rock bottom. We have that big dark night of the soul. And if you watch my last video that I put out, I think it was a whiteboard class, I'm not sure, there's so many, where I talk about how the rock bottom is like a place for you to be able to reset the game. So the further away you get from your higher self, the more in cahoots your higher self will be to get you hurt in the game, get you killed in the game, get you like in trouble in the game, so that you will let go and surrender. And if you let go and surrender and you finally stop pursuing and searching and trying and guilting yourself and shaming yourself and hiding in other people and eating things that further disconnect you and hating yourself, like then when you like finally let go, you resume that factory reset. And this is why, you know, people have those near death experiences. They're like, oh, you know, I went to heaven and I talked to God and blah, blah. And so this is who you really are. Your true self resides in the state of heaven, or that essence of perfection, prosperity, freedom, eternal love. You know, everything that is in your heart that wants to come out is actually who you really are. So the further lost in the game you get, the more that ego consciousness tries to get you hooked, attached, consuming something that's it can hold onto the side of, because it's like trying to find the edge of the pool. And really what we need to do is let go and turn back towards those feelings that are don't make any sort of logical sense to what we're living, but feel more like home than any person, place, or thing that you could be chasing in your 3D reality. So let me give you my list of ways to reconnect to your higher perspective, your higher mind, your higher self, your your aspect of Christ, your God, your father energy, you know, whatever you want to call it, the universe, whatever you want to call it, it's you. Okay, you means you in verse. It's your story. So this is why you are the actor, director, editor, producer, co-writer, co-star. Everything is you pushed out. You know, you get it. So let's get into it. All right. So, okay. Number one. And again, these are not in order. Okay, at all. So if you're just like starting this out and you haven't been like very good to this body, okay, then you have to understand that what you want to do is you want to limit the noise as much as possible so that you can begin rebooting that GPS within. So depending on how far gone you are from your body, how detached you are, how much spirituality you've been chasing, you know, how you've been chasing that guy or chasing that money, depending on how far away you are, one of the fastest ways that you can redirect your energy and, you know, begin to listen to the truth of the navigation, your North Star that is coming from inside of you, not out there, is to fast, intermediate fast, or get on some sort of a liquid powdered superfoods. Okay. And again, I've got a couple of recommendations, but I'm not pushing any particular company because I'm not doing that. But, you know, you'll attract what you need. But something that has a something grown from an electrocurrent frequency. So the foods, the minerals, the vegetables that are grown with the copper rooting, that is going to give you all of the minerals and the nutrition that you're not going to get from any store-bought food anywhere. Okay, especially in the United States, you're basically getting chemical warfare. Now, again, I'm not saying you have to do this in order to raise your vibration. No, I didn't. But again, depending on how far away you are, this is one way where you will actually stop feeling like you're constantly feeding a monster, because the more toxic food you eat, the hungrier your body gets. And therefore, you're never going to be able to satisfy this beast. Okay. And one of the fastest ways that you can realize that you are immortal is to take food away. Because when you do, you start to feel more alive, you start to feel more well-fed, you start to get your joy from other places, you start to feel more filled. And yeah, there's a couple of rough days, but if you persist, as soon as you get on the other side of it, you're going to feel like that electric connection again, because food is information. So what you're putting in is also thinking and feeling. So if you're putting in a lot of garbage on top of garbage thoughts, garbage past, garbage relationships, you're not going to want to go anywhere near this thing. Okay, so that's one way that you can do that. But I don't even start off my boot camp with changing diet, because a lot of the times you guys are using food as your security blanket, and I understand that because I did that as well. But the more toxic food you consume, the more mental warfare you're going to be dealing with trying to figure out, like, what is actually my intuition, what's ego, what's the body, the primal body craving, what are the parasites craving, you know, and you're going to be confused. So I recommend there's a couple, and I will put in the comment section like my go-to as far as like a superfood and like a superfood that has all of the essential minerals. Because one of the things that I've seen in all of my clients over the years is when they're lacking magnesium, it is very difficult for an empath or a sensitive being to think properly without magnesium. Magnesium is something that I feel like empaths and sensitive beings lose a lot more of, because we're so connected. It's like having 1,000 apps open in your brain, yet your body has no energy. It's like everything is running, but the body's not getting any of that fuel. That is one of the things. Plus, you know, with all the empaths and sensitive, you guys are either dealing with some sort of gut issue, constipation. So magnesium is a natural muscle relaxer. It's going to help reconnect some of that chemistry and that electrical magnetic currency that needs to be rewired so that you can start to feel and know yourself. Okay. So I will put that in the comment section. Okay. So one thing you can do is meditate with your Wi-Fi off. Okay. Because you have to understand that you are one big crystal conductor. And yes, all of your chakras are like they're like satellite ends, and you have this antenna. Okay. And so when you are trying to get out of your mind and you're trying to get your body quiet, you're trying to get inside of here, and you're not doing 1,000 hours of breath work or something, and you just want to reconnect very quickly, turn off your Wi-Fi in the house, and you'll notice that you connect much faster, because your Wi-Fi is also tapping into your pineal gland energy in your third eye, and it's basically pulling data from you, and it's putting data inside of you, and that's on purpose. Okay, and I won't get into the conspiracy theories, but we're here to hack that. We're here to bypass that worry. All right. Okay, so turn your Wi-Fi off. Yeah, your kids will be like, hey, what happened? Do it while they're in school. Okay, so you will immediately begin to feel better, and if possible, sleep with your Wi-Fi off. That is a great idea. Okay, number 3, and again, these are in no order. Imagineer, and I do a lot of Imagineering training. And the reason why is because you have 2 imaginations. You have the higher mind, the quantum field of imagination, which is your north, your higher self's mind, God's desires, God's heart that streams through you. And then you have the matrix imagination, which is you thinking about something you want, and then you trying to figure out in your imagination how to get there, or trying to figure out what someone meant when they said something, or assuming some argument, or having imaginary fights, or going back and playing your past 1,000 times. That is the matrix imagination, and that is what is sabotaging you. Because as long as you're using your I imagine energy on memories, on people, places, and things, conflict, fear-based scenarios, worried-based solution problem situations, you are literally depleting all of your life force energy. So when you do some Imagineering training, you are learning how to use this muscle to see how you feel. And when you do that, you are going to completely raise the energetic frequency of your body. You're going to be tapping in. And the best way for me to teach you how to Imagineer without giving you a whole class is to imagine your best possible life, your best possible self. No money problems, no health problems, no relationship problems, no family drama, no job situation, no climate problems, no government issues, no poisonous food. Imagine your perfect self in your perfect life. Okay. And if you can do that for 3 to 30 minutes per day, what you will notice is you begin to rewire your neural pathways. You replace the old stories of your past with new cellular memory. You begin to train your muscles, because they are on this adventure with you in that Imagineering, and the brain doesn't know the difference between real and imagination. So when you take yourself to where you prefer to be, already complete, already living in the wish fulfilled, and you can do that through the 5 sensory feeling experience, you are teaching your body that it actually lives in heaven as well, and it will begin to crave that instead of that toxic dude or that food, or constantly needing to call someone to ask you what your next move is. You will begin to activate your higher level of DNA that has been awaiting for that connection. So highly recommend that is like, be all in, make that part of your consistent, discipled daily routine. Okay. Eliminate, guys, 2024. Aren't you sick of it? Eliminate, second rate, fair weather, one-sided friendships. Okay. I know some of you just don't know how to be alone, or some of you feel like so lonely. You won't feel lonely ever again when you reconnect to your higher self, ever, 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 ever. There won't be anyone you need, because you are the one you need. Your soul's mate is right here. Okay. That is who you're seeking through all these other people. So if you were like, this is draining me, this is pulling my energy away from where I want to be, I don't care if it's a family member. You're actually going to be able to save your entire bloodline if you connect to your higher self. If you continue to pour from an empty cup out there, you won't be able to help anyone. All right. So again, instant gratification of being there for your Nana, even though she's super toxic, or saying, you know what, I'm going to go into my workshop, into my Imagineering, and I'm going to see my grandmother well. I'm going to see her happy, even though I'm not going to spend my physical time with her. That is real love. Okay. All right. And this goes for anybody that you're just hanging on because you need that booty call, or you need that like someone hanging out with occasionally. Like, what does that say for you? You are who you surround yourself with. So all of you want to be high value men, high value women. But if I were going to associate you with who you're with to rank you in terms of your value, if you're always the smartest person in the room, if you are always the most aware, if you are always the giver, if you are always the most self-aware, if you're the one who is, constantly having to help everybody or keep everybody together, what happens is the 5 people that you energetically are bonded with either raise your frequency or lower. So it is really great for you to get into your state of true masculine God energy or true divine feminine energy and work those boundaries through raising your values. So it's like if you were a Rolls Royce that never got put in the garage, never got washed, left at a really big junkyard, eventually you would drive by and you would not see a Rolls. You would see a dirty, rusty, dirt covered vehicle, and you wouldn't even see what it was unless you were right there. And then when you did see it, it would be so that you wouldn't even necessarily want it, even though it might be running perfectly on the inside. Okay, so you have to understand is that when you are an adaptable, influential being, you are an electrical being. So when you are in a group, a tribe, a community, and it is complaining and negative and detached and you know playing the victim here, even if you don't agree with any of it, it's like cigarette smoke. You're walking by it, you're walking through it, you're going to smell like it. So you are who you surround yourself with. So if you're trying, that's your key word, to raise your vibration and nothing seems to be working, check yourself before you wreck yourself, because it might be your circle of friends, family, or stragglers that you're hanging on to because you have the wound of being lonely. Let them go. Okay. So what you'll see is that you're going to work through those feelings of loneliness. You're going to work through that broken heart finally. You're going to work through that devastation that you're holding on to because you'd rather have a friend than an enemy. And then what you're going to notice is that your higher self is going to give you every single thing that you're not getting anywhere else, guys. I promise you. All right. Okay. Affirming. Now, I just did this. I know this was in my whiteboard class. Affirming, but not just your I ams. So you have 7 chakras. So your best way to make your affirmations work for you, which means create the bridge from 3D to 4D, close the gap manifestation, is to affirm every chakra. So if you're going to say I am rich, you're going to start with your I am rich. I create wealth. Wealth is created towards me, because your sacral is create. So I'm going to go all the way up the chakras. I demonstrate wealth. Okay. Others demonstrate wealth towards me. You want to do it cause and effect. You want to do it coming out and going in. Receiving and giving. You want to do it in a dual nation. Okay. So you're going to do I am, I create, I demonstrate wealth. I feel wealthy. Okay. Others feel wealthy about me. Okay. I believe I am wealthy, prosperity. Okay. Others believe that I am. Okay. I see all the wealth. That means you have to be visualizing it. Others see me wealthy. I am. So you remember, your crown and your root are the duality of your true nature. So when the 2 I ams are in harmony and they are vibrating the same frequency, this is the bridge that closes the 3D to the 4D, which is living in 5D. That means you are living your own sovereignty. All right. So your job is to get this gap closed, to get the create, the demonstrate, the feel, the believe, the seeing, all in alignment. And then this I am that I am. I am that I am. I am the Alpha and the Omega. That is when you are literally living as if but it's going to manifest when all these 7 points hit the jackpot. Lucky number 7. Okay, so affirming for all 7. Okay, number 6, gotta have a night routine. You have to. Your subconscious is so impressionable right between those sleeping hours and that wake hour, that theta alpha line of your brain waves. That is the sweet spot. That's going to, like, affirming or visualizing or doing your stats work right then is going, that 5 minutes, that juicy 5 minutes that you have is going to be more impactful than hours of affirming through the day. Because remember, your conscious mind is looking at what is, and it is not necessarily able to impregnate the subconscious mind in a waking beta brainwave, because it's like an automatic. So you've got to get your subconscious in a hypnotic state. You got to get her turned on in order for her to accept that seed, that desire, and then not just accept it, but begin to grow it in the soil, which is the belief system. So if you want to bypass all of those blocks, right, that she's got around receiving and accepting things, you've got to do it in her most impregnable hour, which is going to be that theta alpha line that is very organic. Now you can create that throughout the day if you're going to use brainwaves, no problem. Do so. Okay, so, but that's your sweet spot. And you always, guys, you want to go to sleep in the reality that you prefer. Okay, because once you go into your sleep state, that is when the subconscious and the conscious mind come together, and it's like they have a meeting behind your back, and they start to create all this intimacy, and they start to formulate all of the belief systems throughout the day, like what stays, what goes, what is. So if you go to sleep every night in the bed you want to be sleeping in, with a person next to you, with the money in your bank, and you're just lying in celebration and gratitude, and you're just like soaking it all in, and you're feeling, you're using all your 5 senses, and you go to sleep in that every night, this is going to cut a lot of your time of reprogramming off. And you're also never going to sleep with a problem, never going to sleep with an issue. If you have a situation that's really heavy on your heart, turn it over to your higher self, give it to your infinite intelligence, say, this is not my job, this is your job, I'm a child of God, I'm going to get some rest, turn it over, imagine your preferred reality, go to sleep. There's other things you could be doing for your night routine, but that is like the basic. Do not do that. Okay. The next one would be a morning routine. Now, the morning routine is just as important, because that 30 minutes, some people say it's 5 minutes. I have clocked it more like 30 minutes, because it's like sometimes we have a lot of our minds, so we don't get into that sweet spot more than like 5 minutes at night, but we wake up and we're like in that space for a long time until you get your coffee or whatever. And so you're in that in and out space where your body still wants to go to sleep, but you know you got to wake up. And if you use that time to kind of like wake up in your dream life, okay, wake up and connect to your higher self, wake up in your affirmation, wake up and decide what character you're going to step out of your bed in, decide what she's going to wear, what he's going to wear, what they're going to implement, practice, and prepare and play, even if they aren't in that world, which means, how can I bring the essence of this main character energy into my crappy job? How can I bring the essence of this main character energy into, my daily tasks, or taking care of my kids, or whatever? And then you create a way to bring that avatar, that main character energy, into your 3D day, so that you don't get in resistance of what you have to do, and it feels so different than who you are, that you have a tantrum and then you fall out of your vibration. So you kind of like, you make it you method act that main character energy all throughout your day. We call this is what we do instead of waiting. This is what we do instead of being patient. We practice, prepare, and play the essence of that main character energy throughout the day, but you want to really solidify that as like that you telling the universe, like, I don't care what's happening out there, this is who I am. Okay, I don't want getting blown up with text messages. All right, next one. Okay, manage and direct your moods. So I know everybody can get in a mood. You know, you're having a great day and somebody just says something and just puts a dark cloud over you, you know, you get your jacket caught and it rips off and, you know, your car breaks down and you're going to have echoes. You're going to hit the 5Ds. You're going to have the delays. You're going to have the disappointments. You're going to have all those things I teach you. You're going to have the 4 echoes. Something's going to break. You're going to lose something. You're going to get sick. There's 4 echoes and there's 5Ds. This is any video game. There's going to be the opposition. So while you're leveling up and raising your vibration, you are going to hit these oppositions. What's crazy about it is there's only truly 5Ds and there's only 4 echoes. So if you can actually go, oh, that's just an echo, that means I'm leveling up. Here's the thing. This stuff doesn't start happening to you till you level up. So immediately when it starts happening to you, you can actually go into gratitude because you are leveling up. That is your first evidence of the universe that you are on the right track. You start manifesting the opposite of what you're affirming, you're on the right track. Because the universe is conditioning you to see, are you really this person? Can you hold this state of being in this situation? Because it's like if I was an actor and I was like, okay, you have to be the funny friend no matter what. Okay, that means like a storm, I have to make that storm funny. I have to make that food funny. I have to make, you know, death funny. Could you make all these things that are happening to you joyful? Could you make them happy? Could you make all your poverty prosperity? Because that's your job. And until you are good at being delusional, which is disillusion, okay, and you stop being in denial, that's another video coming, denial versus delusion, is you have to understand when you're denying the problem, you are in resistance of it. When you are literally like, I know I created that when I was unaware, but now I am. And so I am going to be delusional of it. And I'm going to actually incorporate that into my character. So if you are a prosperity goddess, if you are a man of God, if you are wealthy beyond belief, if you are super fit and beautiful, you have to bring that into the reality that you don't feel you are, that people don't think you are, that the bills coming in you can't pay for. You have to learn to pretend again. This is why children up into the age of 5 would rather pretend all the time, even in the most mundane situations. Like they want to be the dinosaur when they eat dinner because it's more fun. Because they don't want to have to be who you want them to be. They want to be who they want to be. And so right away, there is going to be a rebellion. They have authority issues because they are trying to maintain that malleability, that knowing that they have inside that they are here to choose. But they need to discern, they need to decide, they need the contrast, the evidence of the reality to determine who they want to be. But what happens is the world's like, no, you have to be like this. And so like, fine, I'll be a dinosaur. And it's cute and funny until they get older. And then it's like, okay, now you want to change your actual gender to a cat. Like we need to think about that, right? And there's no, you know, there's nothing bad or good about it. It's just you can see the rebellion, especially in like my kids' generation. The reason why they're so quick to change their genders is because they weren't allowed to freaking tie their shoes on their own. They have over nurturing parents. They have parents that never cleaned up their inner child. And so they're parenting out of guilt and shame and wounding. And so the child's like, fine, you won't let me, you know, cross the street by myself without, you know, like a tracker on me because you're so afraid of losing me because you've lost yourself that now I'm going to change my gender just to piss you off. You have to understand that a lot of what's happening with the little guys is literally nothing more than a tantrum. So you have to check yourself as a parent of what you're experiencing and remember what was taken away from you early on. So stay the main character no matter what. The next one, and remember your moods is, so if you look at the Bible as your biography and you understand that all the scripture is the metaphorical translation of how to get from here to here, right? The walk through the shadow of death, right? To get those bottom 3 chakras back into the state of heaven, then you have to understand that you are here to manage your thoughts and moods. Moods are your cluster of feelings. So you know what a mood is. It's different than just a failing thought. Like you could just have a joyful memory and then it's gone. But could you have a joyful mood? Could you have an abundant mood? Could you create those where they don't exist? Because that's what spirit is asking you to do, is create the mood, because the mood is like the cluster. And I will tell you that when you have a seed planted in your subconscious and you begin to mood it, that is the rain. That is the water that you are now mooding. So this is an abundant seed. Okay, let's just say it's the tree that's going to grow and it's going to bear fruit, but it needs hydration. It needs food. It needs life. So if you put the exact mood that is the vibration of the seed on the seed 2 times a day, okay, then what you're doing is you are watering that seed with your mood. Okay, and moods create reality very quickly in the 4th dimension, very quickly. So you have to watch your moods. And if you're in a bad mood and you don't want to go in denial about it, you want to accept it. Okay, I understand why I'm in this bad mood. I accept why this part of my 3D is still happening, and I accept. I'm not going in denial. I'm accepting it, but I'm deciding that because I am the awareness, that being in the mood that associates with my circumstances is not serving me. So I need to change my energy. I need to find a mood that is the resonant frequency of the seeds that I'm planting so that I can create my own reality quicker. Okay, so you create the mood. So in the scripture, mood is representative of the wine, because when you drink wine, you're in a mood, like you're happy, I love you, man, like you want to drink the wine. Now the bread in the communion is the thought, so you want to put the thought in. That's like the sunlight for your seed. That is the information, and then the water is the mood. So you really want to create moods. So you know how they're effing with the weather and they're creating rain and Dubai, so it has a more realistic feeling. You've got to create your sunshine in the storm. Okay, and that will really help you rapidly raise your vibration. Okay, so number 9, think your own thoughts. You're going to have body thoughts. You're going to have thoughts from your memories. You're going to have thoughts from the outside world coming in. You're going to have dark energy thoughts that are trying to pull you back out of your body constantly, like, oh, look over here, look over here, look over here. Oh, they don't love you. You don't love yourself. You're horrific. You're ugly. You're going to have that. Okay, that's why we teach thought rehab. But in the meantime, what you can do is you can say, well, there's a presence in here that can choose her own thought. Because you know what? You are that 5-year-old now that can be a dinosaur while you eat dinner. So if you go, you know what? I just had a real thought that I was worthless. Great. Let me play the duality game right here and let me have that opposite thought, because you know what? I can. No one has jailed your thoughts. No one has put your thoughts on death row. Yes, you are thinking horrific thoughts, but you don't know that that's not coming from your awareness. It's coming from your program. It's coming from your circumstances. It's coming from your body. It's coming from your cellular memory. It's coming from your parasites. It's coming from everywhere but you. And it's usually in the voice and tone of your first parental guidance. So it's going to have your sarcastic, it's going to have mom's sarcastic tone, or it's going to have somebody narcissistic flavor on it. If you notice, that's not how you would talk to your kids. So you know that you are not talking to yourself that way. So you need to talk to yourself the way that you would talk to a small child. Okay, so thinking your own thoughts, because you are the awareness who has that ability. You have that freedom. So when you say you're not free, that's not true. That's not true, because you can create your own thoughts, which means you can create your own reality. All right, next one, sun gaze, especially in the morning hours, 9, 10, 11 a.m., and then twilight. That is going to have your strongest photonic stream, your downloads. That's going to be your direct connect. Okay, that sun is going to basically do things to this body that you could not understand. You want to do it with no sunblock, and you want to do it with no sunglasses, because I'm sorry, when you guys get my video where I put the whole timeline together and you see when they decided to put sunblock on you and what they put in the sunblock, you will be like, ew. So I'm not saying go in direct sunlight at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and burn your butt off. I'm saying go in the morning sun, before the evening sun, the twilight sun, and sit 10 or 15 minutes and just sun gaze. You're not going to be looking at direct sunlight. You're going to be looking at, covered. And again, you just like sit in a state of receiving. Now, if you are in the middle of winter like we are, okay, then you can get yourself like a little grow light, little red light therapy, something that simulates the sun. And you want to sit on it with it 10 or 15 minutes per day, especially if you have the winter blues, if you're living in somewhere like really cold, like Alaska or something, and you want to sit under it receiving. And what you're doing is pretending it's the sun. It's going to be the second best thing. You're still going to get the download. Also, because you're intending and pretending, your higher self will be there with you when you ask, it's given. So you're going to get something even by going through the simulation movement of it. Okay. So don't eliminate that one, regardless of the season that you're in. Okay, next one, move your bodies. Okay, I know you got 1,000 tabs open and your body has no energy to move. But if you moved your body would have more energy. The body in motion wants to stay in motion. So if you don't want to work out, dance. Okay, if you don't want to do yoga, just go on a walk. Like, do something. Don't not move. Okay, when you don't move your body, it doesn't feel alive. What happens is all of your energy goes up into the mind, which means that you are an overthinker because your energy is not distributed correctly, which means you're going to lose your eyebrows, you're going to lose your hair, you're going to lose your gut health, because when you're constantly sitting, all of your energy goes to your mind. And so you're thinking, your body is just like so exhausted. So if you actually put your body to work, put some great, powerful beast modes beats on, do not listen to mainstream music. Mainstream music is 440. It creates anger. It creates rage. What I love is go for the movie soundtracks, because it's like, that's the emotional impact of like, let's do this. Like, this is a great time to do your Imagineering work. It's a great time to do your visualizations. Like what I do is I strap on a whole bunch weight, get on my elliptical machine, and for 30 minutes I'm like somewhere else, and I'm just walk around the block. You can activate your dark feminine energy. You could do yoga, you could do Pilates. Just move, and do not move with the intention that I'm punishing you because you're fat. Do it because you're a child and you love it. So if you actually did movement more childlike, your body would crave movement. Even if you're sore, even if your back hurts, even if your knees hurt, do it. Okay, put some essential oils on it afterwards and ice it up and be like, I'm proud of you. All right, you will thank me for that. Okay, so basically move your body and joy. That was number 11. Number 12, eat electrical cultured grown foods. This is, again, this goes back to number 1. If you can get your hands on someone that's been growing with those copper wiring, you are going to get all of your essentials. Like since 1913 or so, even your average broccoli has 30% less folic acid than what it has now. So even if you eat this much vegetables, you're not getting what your body needs. Now, I know that if you raise your vibration, you can eat dirt and be fine, or nothing and be fine, because I've not really ever watched so much of what I've eaten, but I have done every single thing else. So if you're really struggling with Imagineering because your Imagineering was shamed as a child, then I would say path of least resistance here. If you can't do some of those other ones, right, and you're like, I can't do this yet, go for the food first. If that's where you can go, is like if that feels inspiring, go towards that. Now, you don't need any of these things that I'm giving you to raise your vibration. You just have to set the intention and then let whatever ideas come to you. I'm just saying these are the ones that have worked mainstream for me and for thousands of my clients, for the last few years. Okay, so this is just our little cheat sheet for hacking the matrix, getting your vibration up, reconnecting to your higher self so that you can live the reality that you choose. Okay, next one. Let me make sure I didn't do that. Okay, so number 2 was meditate with your Wi-Fi off. And number 13 is hardwire your Wi-Fi. Now, I have no idea how that works because I'm not techie, but I have done the research, and there's a way where you can hardwire it so that it is not constantly just streaming and it's affecting all your chakras throughout the day. I will see if I can find some more information on that. And if I can, I will put it in the comment section. If not, look it up yourself. Google is the manifestation of Akashic records. You can find anything out in 30 seconds. So hardwire Wi-Fi. Okay. Number 14, breath work. Breath work, remember, breath in every other language means spirit. One of the fastest ways to get in your body is to do intentional breathing, which means right now I'm breathing. That's not intentional. That's just subconscious. Okay. But if I go, oh, wait, I can breathe, I take my breath back. Well, see, now I'm being an intentional player. Now I'm commanding and I'm the authority of this body, where before the body was breathing. So, it's like your dog who thinks it's the boss, and then you go, no, I'm the boss. So remember, this is a primitive, primal, hungry, very carnal vehicle that you're sitting in when your spirit is not in it. Okay, it's going to want to do things and it's going to want to feel things that is not necessarily good for it. And when you are living all your energy up here, you forget to breathe. So you're shallow breathing. So you're not getting the breath in your guts. So if you can breathe all the way down, you're going to put your nervous system back into balance, which means you're going to deregulate your nervous system. So it is actually thinking that you are safe. Okay. You're going to rebalance your vagus nerve, which is going to be your central command system of your electrical meridians. You are going to feel safer. You're going to feel more present. Your body's going to feel lighter. And so doing breath work, when you get really, really, really in your head, that will reground your energy. And just gentle breathing, techniques like box breathing or 5-finger breathing, any of those gentle breaths throughout the day. When you start getting into your overactive thinking mind, or you start to go into worry, you start to go into guilt and shame, like you can't do any inner work right at that point. You can just your breathing. You can tell yourself you're safe. You can tell yourself I'm here with you. And when you breathe, you are putting spirit into the body. You are bringing it back to life. So the reasons why I get scared a lot is because your body thinks it's dying because you're not anywhere near it. Pain is it's a check engine light that says, where are you? Because you ain't here. You're not here. You're not here. Get here. So there's some sort of resistance there. Okay. All right. Next one is doing lymph and blood cleansing as much as you can. So we did a lot of this in our biohacking boot camps. We do a lot of lymph clearing, blood clearing. Remember, your blood is where your spirit is incarnated, through the blood, and your lymph is the plasma. That is kind of like your supernatural, like your it's almost like amniotic fluid. Okay, you want to think of it like that. But just like the amniotic fluid, it cleans all the toxins so that the baby stays healthy inside. And so you need to stay healthy inside. And so if your lymph is completely backed up and it's trash and you've got nodules and aches and pains, like if you push the sides of your body right here and the top of your head and the sides of your thighs and it hurts, okay, you have nervous system damage and your lymph is so backed up. If you have that like drippy fat on your thighs or under your arms right here or here, your lymphatic is like, take trash out. So you can do some dry brushing. You can just do some tapping on you've got, I think, 6 or 7 points of where your drains are for your lymph. Do it in the morning when you get up, and do it before you go to bed, morning and night routine. And as far as cleansing the blood, one of the fastest ways that you can clean your blood back to a factory setting is ice bath. Okay. It shocks everything. The body thinks it's dying, so it goes through a resurrection cycle, and it's basically like a blood transfusion. Now, another way that you can do this is through this sexual transmutation, which means no, you're not going to get laid. You're not even going to masturbate. You're going to turn yourself on, and then you are going to move that energy all the way up to your brain, and you're going to simulate your Kundalini experiences. And this is going to also completely clean your blood, because an orgasm is literally going to clean every part of you out, but you're losing that life force energy. So guys, you hold on to that. Okay. Ladies, you're going to hold on to that. Put some of it in your womb, put some of it into your breast, put some of it into your head, guys, put it into your heart, put it into your back, put it in all these places that you're not supported. And you're literally giving yourself in like a ball of energy throughout the body. And you move that energy through your intentional imagination and breath, because it's all pretend. all of it. Okay. And the universe is watching how you are taking action. Remember, it's thought, word, and deed. I hear so many manifestations teachers say, no, don't do anything. Just sit there. How many of your egos just let you sit anywhere? I know for me, I can't sit still. I can't just sit here and wait for God to bring me, the UPS truck of my dreams. No, I want to do something. And if I can find something that is in alignment with the character that I am telling the universe that I am now, then that is going to keep me out of trouble. Because if I'm sitting still, my body is going to feel uneasy. It's going to feel uncertain. It's going to feel worried. So I'm going to put it into inspired action, even if I have nothing to do that matches my future self. I can play the part. I can go, well, I can't move into the new house, but I could clean this one out. Right. So you've got to be proactive when you are waiting. Okay. Waiting is the worst possible thing for a child. And it's going to be the worst possible thing for you when you've done your visualizations and you've done your morning routine and you've done your superfood. You can't just sit there and wait, because that is like watching paint dry. It's like a treadmill moment. It's like a microwave moment. It takes forever. So if you can be interactive as that character, you'll see it all come together faster. Okay. So number 17 was the red light therapy. If you don't have the sun. Number 18 was your your journaling. So I've never really been a journaler. Okay. Like I just kind of like have these thoughts. I make crazy notes in my phone, but I've never journaled and I've never created an outline and I've never really actually even written anything for any of my work. But this last year, as I've been really unpacking my subconscious and, looking at cause and effect and looking at repeating patterns and looking at, self-concept work, which is what you identify with as the universe sees you. Remember, you don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. Sometimes like especially like doing a lot of shame and guilt work and getting it on paper, like there's certain things that you want to get out of your body. So instead of reacting and telling someone off, which would feel amazing, and you think, oh, it's going to give me boundaries. Nope. You cannot interact with 3D or get triggered in 3D and like react to 3D and not create a loop or karma. So what you do is when you have those feelings come up that you're like, that you usually just swallow, okay, get them on paper, get them on your notes in your phone, get them out of your body, bring them up as the alchemist, put them in your hands at least, and then change them into something else. You've got to get that stuff out of your body, because you start taking the trash out, but then you get triggered and no, you don't want to put trash into a clean body. So once you start doing some of these things, you're not going to want that anger. You're not going to want that grief. You're not going to want the frustration or that humiliation going back into your vital organs. You're going to want to do something with it. So if all you have is your phone, put the note in. My feelings are really hurt right now. My blood feels very hot. Express how I feel. Okay. If you need to vent, great. But if you notice yourself blaming and complaining, that's your ego. So you want to say, wait a second, I'm creating my reality. Everybody's me pushed out. Everything's a mirrored consciousness. So obviously what I'm really angry about is that this pattern is still here. So I'm really angry that this pattern is still here. You get it out of your body so you feel a little bit less crazy in the mind. You feel a little bit more grounded. And then what you can do is you can either come back to it later and look at the patterns, connect the dots, do some detective work on it. Or if it feels like the charge is blown, you can delete it, you can burn it, you can get rid of it. You want it out of your field. This is you taking responsibility for your programs and patterns that you no longer want. If you resist them, if you ignore them, if you perpetrate them, if you feel like victimized by them, you're going to keep manifesting it, bottom line. So once you become aware of reality creation through the God mind, not from the 3D mind, where you're creating a reality out of your old program, but when you start to really create your new reality, you don't want to be any part of that old you. You want to consider yourself baptized. You want to consider yourself new. So you don't want to keep putting that crap in. Okay. So that is my final to-do list for raising your vibration, connecting with your higher self, aligning with the frequency of God, which is you. This is you taking full responsibility. It is you acting as the wish is fulfilled, thinking as the wish is fulfilled, treating yourself like someone who has the wish fulfilled, engaging in your visions, being in your imagination, and ignoring circumstances because they don't matter. Remember, energy is faster than matter. Matter is the accumulation of charged energy that has become solidified. So remember, all energy is kind of like it starts as steam. It's particles. And then when those particles begin to form an idea, they turn into water. This water is malleable. It's now saying, okay, what am I? So whatever you put that water in, whatever shape of that water, it's going to be the shape of that water. And then if you freeze that water in the teapot, you have a frozen teapot. If you took that ice out, you would have the shape of a teapot. So when you finally manifest your 3D reality, you're getting the ice version of your own steam. I know it doesn't feel like that. It feels like somebody else's steam that created this situation, but it was your subconscious programming that you might have been in denial about, and you were delusional, yes, in your imagineering, but you also have to go into where you've been in denial, and you have to unpack your baggage so that it doesn't continue to manifest. Remember, everything that is in your physical reality is the ice version of your own steam. So all you have to do is warm it up, and it will begin to go back into the shape of water. Through water is the idea of the fourth dimension. Okay. And then you're going to put it back into steam, which is spirit. Then you're going to recalibrate that. You're going to bring it back in, and you're going to form the actual teapot that you want. You're going to form the world that you want, and then you're going to solidify that by flowing energy to it and building it up and being it and speaking it and thinking it and feeling it. And then it has to manifest because it is the law. It's the law of assumption. And it all ties in basically what we've all been working to practice a lot this year. You probably didn't hear anything that like blowing your mind today, but when you look at it from the perspective of you could integrate 5 to 20, 5 to 15 of these into your day. And it might bring you peace because you're being proactive instead of like worrying, is it happening? Where is it? Where is it? Instead of being that state, you are being in the state of proactive. You're living the wish fulfilled. You're taking that time for finding an inspired action that matches your wish fulfilled. And so that you're not waiting on the universe, because when you're waiting on the universe, it's victim energy. Okay. And it's just a matter of time. So your ego is going to perpetrate, and it's going to cause a situation that you're going to feel you're falling back in. And we ain't got time for that. So let's bring in 2024 with like fresh ideas, fresh to-do list, fresh concept of self, and basically like take command, be the authority. You are the god of this reality. You're making it all up. You might as well be in the story you want. You're tired of living a horror movie? Make yourself into a rom-com. Change your character completely. Remember, you first want to stop being the actor and go back into the edits. Edit the script, okay? The universe will play the producer. Okay, the universe will play the director. Once you've edited the script, now you start rehearsing. You start rehearsing that character in your old movie, in your old set, okay? In your old Imagineering. You do that first, and then the universe will take care of the sets and the props and the people and the co-stars and the money and all that stuff that you need. And all you have to do is say, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going back to edits. I'm changing my script. And then I'm going to work off that new script until my reality is proven that I am who I say that I am. All right. Hopefully that helped. Happy New Year, guys, and happy holidays. And I will see you in the new year. Hopefully some of you will be joining my new masterclass, where I'm basically going to show you how to play the game of the occult. We're going to fight fire with fire. We're going to use all the alchemy work that they are using against you to hypnotize, to affirm, to throw you into slavery. We're going to use exactly the same chess game against them, but for ourselves. And we're going to use love instead of fear as our motivation. So it's going to be a pretty intense year of our masterclass. I do a masterclass every year, and this year is where we truly learn what the kingdom of heaven is and how to play the game by fighting fire with fire. I will put a little bit of information in my drop down of the YouTube video if you guys want to reach out to me to get in that. Most of the people who take my master classes have been students that have been going through this, so that it kind of like just re-enroll. But if you're like, I'm ready for this, like I've been doing my work and let's get in, because we're going to use every single tactic that they use the manipulation through the strategic energy of love. Remember, because love is the only thing that you have to win your game, which means loving yourself, loving others. We're going to play the exact game, but we're going to stream it through life force energy and the frequency of unconditional love. And you will see that you think it's pretty scary out there what they're doing. Can you imagine if you were live streaming with unconditional prosperity, love, and guidance playing the same game? Okay. You want to know where your power is. It's in the same game that's being played against you. Okay. All right, guys. I will see you soon.